Gentani, guten Tag, and welcome to another episode of the Godfather Part II Minute, starring me, Alex Robinson.
And starring me, Andy Robinson.
And together we're going to talk about minute number 67 of the Godfather Part 2.
Alex, repeat after me. E minuto. Numero 67.
67.
You got it.
That's an easy one. I like all the sesantas.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a great one. You like the 60s.
I do. Hey, man, I love the 60s.
No, I meant like the age now that you're in your 60s.
That's what I mean. I love the 60s.
Medicare, Geritol, diapers.
Do they still make Geritol?
I don't know. Those are the first three old person things I could think of.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Geritol is.
I'm guessing it's just like vitamins or something. You know what? We'll answer.
We'll answer. What was there's someone just brought up the
Good Old Days magazine?
Some like fiber supplement, Mucinex, and like Metamucil. That's what the old people say. I think Don ever took any of that stuff? Or did he stick with a strict Sicilian old school mustache Pete diet?
I bet they had some kind of like Sicilian variation of that.
Yeah, I think.
Like, right. Eat some of this, vegetables or something. Yeah. I don't know what it could be, but
put these oranges in your mouth once every week.
That would be terrifying. I don't think you should do that. You scare the children.
So tell us about the minute, Alex.
Well, minute 67. Frank Pantangeli hands his coat and scarf to his wife Mary Jo, and then goes into the parlor, where he encounters an irate Michael Corleone, who is angry his children play with their toys in his bedroom.
Yes. Well, we already got the Garbage Pail Kid.
What's that?
Mad Michael.
Mad Michael. That's true.
Mad.
He'd be all like, be so mad he'd be squirting poops out of his. It's the Garbage Pail Kids. There has to be something about pooping. Yeah. It's not my fault. Don't look at me.
Wow, what a minute.
So Frankie's wife says, he's waiting in your den. He's been in there for half an hour.
And you even hear Mikey screaming through the door, his den, it's my den, hoo-ha.
Do you have a den?
I have a studio.
So what are
But I love the concept of a den.
Well, as I say, we grew up together being brothers, and there was no den in our house.
No, there wasn't, was there?
We had I think the playroom is where we watched the TV. We'd say, hey, that was referred to as the playroom.
The playroom is when we were children. That's where we played with our toys.
Yeah, we didn't play with our toys it's weird that we'll get to it, but it's weird that his children play with their toys in his bedroom. They have this giant compound. They play in the bedroom. Why?
So why do you say? Yeah, I was wondering that too. But den, that was the English translation of the Sicilian because they're speaking Sicilian.
Yeah.
I don't know, but because interesting, I had an Italian friend growing up, and I think they had a den. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I knew people who had dens when we were growing up.
So what's the difference?
What is the We'll ask, we'll answer. Yeah. Did you have a den growing up? Yeah, so what is the definition of a den? That's a good question.
To me, it's sunken. It's darker.
Yeah, darker does it does have a more kind of rustic feel to it, like exposed brick and rock, like
books.
I
don't think your children. A den is not meant for children. It's meant for
like bear cubs.
Yeah, for grown-ups, like a grown man. Right?
I guess so. We'll have to find someone who had a den and ask them
why they called it a den?
What differentiated it from.
Yeah.
Like, is it now just basically like the home office kind of? Is that what it's been replaced by now that everyone has computers in their house?
Probably, So that's where a man would go to do some deep thinking, research, look at old books.
Yeah, I like you,
right?
These professorial duties you're picturing guys doing in their den, as opposed to drinking till they pass out.
Oh yeah, well, good bourbon they'd be drinking in there. Only dark liquors.
Not a wet bar, but a bar.
A bar, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe cigar, maybe pipes, pipe smoke. Yes.
Pipe.
Oh, you must smoke
a pipe in a den.
Yeah.
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 Although it's funny because I feel like Mr. Brady had a den. Didn't he have a den?
Is that where he worked?
I feel like that was where we saw him work. I feel like that was
a den? They refer to that as a den?
I thought they did, but I could.
Oh, interesting.
In my head, that's what I think of when I hear in the den.
Yeah.
So,
that's where Dad buries the bodies.
He buries them in the den.
So
anyways.
Frankie, this is a great minute, Alex.
So,
what do you make of Frankie as he's preparing to go in there? Did you see all his state of mind?
I like that he even though he's mostly balding, he still swipes his head back and stuff. So,
well, before that, he puts his hat down on the chair. Which, by the way, I don't know if that's a Sicilian thing because our Sicilian consigliere Tony Consiglio said you never put a hat on a bed.
On a bed, I think a chair is okay.
A chair is okay.
I would think.
Okay.
Or do you think him throwing it on there is a sign of his looming ill fortune?
That's what I'm wondering. We'll have to ask Tony.
Because I feel like if he did that, then like Mrs. Pentangeli would like pick it up or something. She wouldn't just let it there. She'd be like, "Oh, it's bad luck. I'm going to take it up."
Oh, okay, I see. You're saying it was a test. Because if she didn't pick it up, you'd be like, "Pick it up."
Well, I don't know.
Even my wife's taking hostages.
I don't know if I would think that Frankie was consciously testing her. He might have just done it without thinking, and then she, I imagine, would pick it up just instinctively. You know, and pick it up.
Yeah.
God damn it, I said pick it up.
Oh, the captain, it's a derby.
Yeah.
He puts the hat on the chair. Mm-hmm. And then he passes his jacket. He takes off his jacket and passes it to her. He takes off his scarf and passes it to her.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he gives those to her, but the hat's on the chair. I guess it was too much to give her, and she would have had to put the hat on her own head.
Takes off his suit jacket and his shoes, hands her everything.
But of course, the finale is he kind of combs his own. The what little hair he has left, he combs with his own hands. He flattens it down to make himself look presentable.
I wonder what his hair looked like when he had it
back in the day,
I wonder how long it's been since. Do you think he's one of those guys who was bald like when he was 25, or do you think he?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Frankie. Oh, probably because even then they called him Frankie Five Follicles. We'll have to find a picture of the actor when he was younger and see what kind of hair he had,
or if he had shown up in the flashback scenes, but we never get to see young Frankie.
No.
It's a strange thing that the movie features two older characters who knew Michael's father and worked with him, and yet we see Hyman in one of the deleted scenes, but we don't see. I guess Clemenza is basically what Frankie Five Angels would have been. So
that's true. Yeah. Well, a lot of people probably work with Don Vito Corleone.
That's true, but I mean, if you're showing a movie, usually you
want to connect it.
You're picking things for a reason, and it seems it's.
Would there have been anyone else from GF1 they could have picked?
Everyone
was killed off. Maybe the other Dons. They could have made one of the other Dons. Remember the meeting of the five families?
Finucci or not Finucci.
Zalucci? The Detroit Don?
Yeah, the guy who let them lose their souls. That guy.
Yeah. That was more an intellectual Luca Brasi.
Let them lose their souls.
Or a Luca Brasi theologian.
So Mikey's been waiting for half an hour. Mrs. Pentangeli says, and obviously this is before cell phones, and his visit was unannounced. So, but it made me wonder, what. Because nowadays the idea of making someone wait half an hour is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it made me wonder.
And we can't be made to look ridiculous.
You can afford it. What things would have changed in GF2 had smartphones been around?
Whoa.
So clearly Mrs. Pentangeli would have texted him and said, get home right now.
Get your ass home.
Yeah. Whatever their nickname they had for him.
What's the textual abbreviation for fast?
ASAP.
Do they still use that? They don't use PDQ?
PDQ. PDQ seems more old-fashioned than ASAP.
Well, remember, they have cell phones now. They don't have the modern vernacular, so they would be using the same expressions of the time.
Oh, wow. So they'd be using
But ASAP probably was still something then. Right?
Yeah. Or stat.
Yeah. They'd be texting in Sicilian.
Yeah, or emojis.
Pronto.
Yeah, they were just speaking emojis, like show like the skull face and the clock.
Yeah. And Luca Brazzi with his eyes bulging and the tongue. Oh, that'd be a great emoji.
Don't they have a bulgy eye, tongue sticking out emoji? That's like the Luca Brazzi.
Really? Do they really have one?
I mean, I think there is definitely a tongue sticking out one.
Oh.
And there is a bulging eye one. Whether there is a bulging eye with the...
Oh, that's funny. When are they going to eventually do copyrighted character emojis?
I don't think they...
Ever?
I think the emojis are specifically designed for, like, there's like a board that decides what's there.
But I'm surprised Apple doesn't partner with Paramount, and Paramount says, "Oh, we'll design," because emoji doesn't own the technology of adding a photo to your text, a little image.
Well, I guess then the question would be, what happens if you send something from an iPhone to an Android phone? Can Android users see these
I'm just
licensed?
Yeah.
I think that's the issue, because anytime someone tries to send stuff that's not, if I'm not on an iPhone and I get the thing, my iPhone's gonna be like, I don't know what that symbol is.
Does that happen now?
No, because emojis are designed they are universal. Internationally.
Yeah, but I'm surprised there's not another company or thousands of companies that are now making just little pieces of artwork, and all phones adopt them because it's just more.
I think fun. Emoji is just too
weird. That's not going to last.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be so fun, like a Gilligan.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I don't know. I picked Gilligan.
They do special ones when they do like they did one for this. They did a cannoli one for the offer.
Oh.
And they do Star Wars related ones where if you put in a Star Wars term, that emoji will pop up.
Oh, interesting.
That limited edition emojis.
Okay, but it's still emoji.
It is still an emoji. Yeah. Anyway, so are there any other scenes that you can think of where if someone had been able to be in touch with someone else, then that would have resolved the issue?
Well, I wonder if when
or had access to information that they would not have had.
Oh, I mean, all kinds of things. Yeah. I'm sure.
Michael, I see on your Instagram that you did not bring the money.
Yeah. Fredo was posting the entire flight. He's scared. He's young and weak, and I'm old and sick. But I do think the one that stands out is Mikey going to even before Mikey goes to visit his father in the hospital in GF1.
Yeah.
When all of the bodyguards are sent away.
Totally.
Immediately text Hagen, and everyone said, "Hey, get down here."
Yeah,
PDQ. 5-0 here. Come PDQ.
They probably just use the pig emoji.
Oh yeah. No, wait a minute, Tom. Where does it say we can't use a cell phone to text each other to warn each other? Huh? I think my smartphone would like a new competing emoji. Don't you think so?
Remind me, there's something else we talked about the offer last week in the bonus content material. I had something else I forgot to mention. Remind me
you about the offer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm not going to remember.
Yeah.
But
so before Frankie Five Angels goes in the room, what do you make of his state of mind? He seems real nervous, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is nervous, although he doesn't know. It would definitely be a surprise, but I don't think he doesn't know anything about the Roth situation or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out in a second that he did know that there was a threat on Michael's life.
Yeah, that's in this. Yeah,
but he doesn't know why Michael's there.
Right.
Maybe that's why he's nervous.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
I guess we don't know how frequently. I don't know, actually. I don't know how nervous he is because I don't know how frequent these pop-ins are. Because when he comes in the door, he's just like, "Oh, I would have prepared something." He doesn't seem especially like, "Oh," I mean, obviously he's trying to be put on a front and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But we don't know how frequently the Don pops in, especially if it's Mikey's old house. Who knows? Maybe he's there.
True.
Every time he comes to New York, he just comes by to walk around, and they're like, "Oh boy, here he is again."
I always like coming back to my den because I'm still trying to figure out why we called it a den. Frankie, do you call this room a den?
Well, he'd be surprised they're calling it a den.
Oh yeah,
because he's like, "I thought it was more like an office than a den."
Well, I think Mikey refers to it as my father's office.
Yeah, in
a couple minutes. He
does.
We're still lost in translation here too. So Frankie Five Angels goes into the room.
He walks in the door, and Mikey is he walks into Mikey's. Mikey was just staring out the window.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was. I mean, it's funny because what do you think he was looking at?
Out the window?
Yeah.
Well,
do you think that window looks at the front? Does it look at the backyard? Was he watching Frankie and his boys arrive and so on?
I think he was looking at where Carla was buried in the backyard. Right? Too soon?
I don't think they would have buried her in the backyard. It's too. You don't
too
bury
close to home.
Bodies where you eat.
So,
the Don is buried in the backyard.
Oh, they're growing tomatoes on him. I think we're gonna find out in a few minutes. Doesn't he say to Frankie? My father always said, like, we couldn't play right outside, or we had to be quiet because my father was doing business in here. So I'm guessing he was just looking out to reminisce where they used to play outside. Yeah. It's a great shot because Frankie opens as he opens the door. Mikey's letting go of the curtain far out where the window he's looking through. Yeah. So it's this cool transition. Yeah. What do you think he's looking at?
I think I'm going to guess probably along the lines of you're saying, like kind of nostalgic sort of feeling about it. It's also interesting because there's two window parallels because obviously earlier in the movie we saw him looking out the window right before he got shot.
Yeah.
So that maybe it's weird, and then he's obviously going to bring that up in a second. So it's definitely reminding the viewer of that. And there's also that shot in GF1 where the wedding is going on, and the Don looks out the window, and you just see his eyes like looking through the slats of the thing. So it's a kind of now we're getting to see Mikey do the same.
From the inside.
Yeah, from the inside of the house.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So
that's great. Oh, so what great shooting!
Nice bit of ring theory there. So
let's see what else, Frankie.
I thought this room, since we do learn later on that this is the Don's office where Bonacera and all that stuff was happening. But obviously there's been a bit of a decorating change. It's much more brightly lit and more 50s looking at the wallpaper and the lamps and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought this was the room where Tom and the Don and Sonny all had the conversation about the Turk. That's what I thought. It was that little kind of, because that room wasn't in his office. That was like in a different different room than that one. So
you don't really see much of that room.
Yeah, that's why I thought this room was that room.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a side by side. I looked at pictures, and it doesn't seem like. And then he specifically says that it is his office. So
there was a scene, I think in GF1, where maybe it's in a living room. Oh no, maybe it's
parlor.
The parlor, yeah. Maybe it's later in GF2 after Mama dies. No, but that's all in Tahoe. No.
Yeah. I don't think this is the only time
I'm pretty sure there's a scene in the living room, the parlor, in the compound house in GF1. I don't remember what's happening because you see Teresa there. You see a bunch of people kind of hanging around.
I mean, it might be while
maybe it's when
Mikey
the Don comes back,
because there's a bunch of scenes set in the house, so it's possible. Like, remember, like when they call and Mama picks up the phone and she's like, "Oh, I can't hear you. The baby's
that's
crying."
the kitchen,
right? But when they're moving around, you see other rooms and stuff. So maybe it's one of those kind of scenes where or when Mikey's getting ready to go to Sicily and they're like, or getting ready to do the shooting and they're all like, "See you later" and stuff. You see kind of. I feel like you see different rooms in that.
Kid, I'll tell Mama you said goodbye. It's gonna be a long time, kid. I always thought the pre-Salazzo meeting was in that same room, the living room. Because it just looked the same color. Anyway, there's no way to really know.
Yeah, we'll never know. We don't have any floor plan or anything of the Corleone house, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So there was a cool book when I used to work at a bookstore, and there was a cool book where they did like floor plans of famous TV show like houses and stuff.
Oh, cool!
Like, this is the house the Bunkers lived in, and there's always that thing where you have to kind of imagine what the wall is where the camera is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you never see it. Most sitcoms, you never see the wall that is. You know, so it's kind of funny. So.
That's neat.
So I'd be curious to see a layout of the Corleone house.
Yeah. So Frankie walks in the room, and there's some great dialogue.
I wish you would have let me know you were coming. I would have prepared something. And for some reason, that line...
Great line.
It's
great line.
I think it's interesting that he doesn't apologize for having him sit there and wait for half an hour. He apologizes basically for not having food for him.
Yeah.
I think it's such
awesome.
a hospitality kind of like priority. Not that you were kept waiting, but that you didn't have anything to eat while you were waiting. So
that's great.
Do you think Mrs. Pentangeli, she had to have offered something?
Probably, yeah. Oh, I'm sure she would have said, "Can I get you something to eat?" But Mikey knows.
Can I take your coat?
She's just covered in coats and hats and scarves of any room.
And Mikey's still wearing his coats. He's been wearing for half an hour in the house.
Well, and Mikey does. We already know, established in the previous scene, Mikey never eats food, accepts food when he's talking business.
Is that true?
Yeah, the delicious tuna fish sandwich and small potatoes.
He didn't bite. Didn't want that.
He didn't bite. Michael, you're a considerate young man, but you need calories.
I didn't think of it, but it is interesting that Mrs. Roth offers him food, and also the issue of him not being offered food here is kind of weird.
Yeah, back to back. Look at that.
Well, this whole scene I think is great parallels with or contrasts with the Roth scene, because in that one, Mikey was like calm, tight-lipped. And this time he's like, "Rawr!" I'm out of my home. He's really so. Obviously, some of it is because he's Frankie's boss, so he can. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about. Upsetting Frankie. No one worries about upsetting Frankie.
Yeah. If your boss were coming, but unannounced, maybe you had 10 minutes or so let's say half an hour.
What would I prepare?
What would you prepare?
Well, I mean, this is
you don't know if it's good news or bad news.
This is assuming I do unless I know something about my boss specifically.
Yeah,
like if he's vegetarian or she only eats, gazpacho or whatever. Barring those things, I guess I would probably just do like some chips,
snacks, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have in our house. We don't entertain very much, so it's not like we have like a crudité sitting around that we can. Yeah, but I have pictured Mrs. Pentangeli having a well-stocked. What kind of mob wife doesn't have a well-stocked kitchen?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean,
so she must have offered, and he must have declined.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah. But I'm guessing even if he didn't want something, the expectation would have been to prepare something. That's what Frankie's getting at.
Oh yeah,
like, hey, you're coming. We're gonna prepare some food.
They should have had like an accordion player there and a whole band and everything.
Like, welcome, kid. Welcome to New York. Welcome home.
Welcome back to your old house.
Yeah, the credit's good here. My wife's pasta will kick your teeth in. And we always save the anisette for last. There's your ring theory.
Yeah, nice bit of parallel.
That would have been great if Frankie had done that.
Yeah.
But as kind of an inside joke with Mikey, because Mo Green's dead. It's like, oh, look, like you beat Mo Green. And I'm like, remember we were in Vegas? Boy, those were the days when we had the muscle. We were like the Roman Empire. I realize my Frankie's getting stronger. It's getting more
because your voice is getting weaker.
Well, usually I do more raspy, but now I'm going like I would have prepared something.
Oh boy, wait for that scene where Tom and Pentangeli are together. That's going to be great.
Forget it. Yeah, we're gonna have to accentuate both of them to really highlight who we're doing. So the dialogue is great here, Alex.
So yeah, I wish you would have prepared something.
Oh, hey, before you go on, I want to point out, connecting to what we talked about last week. Here's your minutes grammar lesson. Contractions.
Contractions.
Do you remember what a contraction is, Alex?
A contraction is a person, place, or thing.
Well, you always got to start by spelling it. Contraction. See? So Roth.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of quick ring theory. Mikey comes from Roth's office, where we will make history, Michael. You are a considerate young man. What we will do together has never been done.
Nothing is more important.
Frankie is, if I'd have known you were here, I would have fixed something. Tons of contractions all over this scene.
Well, yeah, I mean, Frankie's a man of the streets. He doesn't have the head for big deals, but this is a straight thing, so he's going to throw around whatever contractions he wants.
Yeah. I don't have a head for syntax.
I think you just wanted to go back to talking about Hyman Roth again. That's why you brought up the contractions.
I don't know, three 10-star minutes in a row. I don't know what you're talking about.
There should have been in the deleted scene.
Should have been
in that deleted scene when you see Hyman Roth. He would have been like, I ain't doing it. And then Vito's like, what's the matter with you? I ain't doing it. You sound ignorant. And that's when he was like, that's when I said I would never speak in a contraction ever again. I can't do it.
Wow.
I won't do it. And I shan't do it.
Oh, and they even said, oh, we were going to call... Now back to Don Corleone. We were going to call you Hyman Roth, but you speak in contractions, so we're going to call you Hyman Roth. So he's like, I've got to beat this nickname.
It is funny that he names himself after his favorite gangster, Rothstein.
Yeah, right.
But he does a shortened version of it, which in a way is kind of like a contraction.
It kind of is.
It should be Roth with an apostrophe in the end, so the Steen is being cut off at the end of it.
I love it. That's great.
I never lie about my grammar. So he says. So Frankie says. So Mikey says, "You heard about what happened."
You heard about what happened,
and then
Frankie starts trying to say, "Oh," he even said it like, "Oh, it killed me," or what did he say?
Something like we nearly died.
Yeah, we nearly died, and then
we nearly died ourselves. That's what he says.
Yeah, that's right.
We heard about it. Yeah. Like, in my home. So would Frankie have brought it up if Mikey didn't first? Obviously, he would wait, depending on what business Mikey was there for.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have said, "Oh, before we get to that, what happened about the shooting?" Or he might have, but...
Well, this gets back to the same thing with Roth.
Yeah.
It's like, what made me wonder was, the assassination attempt took place about a week ago?
We'll say that.
Right? About a week?
Yeah, he had to fly from Nevada to Miami, or take the train from Miami to Nevada to Miami, and then take the train from Miami back up to New York. So a week is probably a safe assumption.
So during that time frame, is Frankie a capo regime and Michael not going to communicate with each other about that? Or is it just unsafe to speak on telephones? Because the FBI is involved?
Don't forget, Tom is temporarily in charge, so maybe Tom has said, "Mikey's safe, don't worry about it."
Tom may have called,
or Frankie called the headquarters and said, "What's going on?" And then Tom just like, "Don't worry about it. It's being taken care of."
Okay.
A lot of buffers.
And Cheech is waiting outside too.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think Cheech and Mikey's bodyguard are talking? They're the two bodyguards. Trading war stories.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm still not clear how many of them are. Because when we went to Miami, you only have the one bodyguard.
Yeah.
So did he go to New York and he's like, "I need 10 more men," or is whoever is I was going to say whoever's running New York, but that would be Frankie. So I assume so. Unless there's another capo regime, still, I guess Joey Zaza and his crew are still, up and coming. Obviously a lot of other. He has more people under him. Because by the time of GF3, we see that he's responsible for a huge banquet hall full of people.
At this point, Joey Zaza probably has his own crew. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, he's to be too young.
Still too young? Maybe he's just a soldier. Just getting in the business.
What year does 70? I think the GF3 is like 1979 or something.
Yeah, and
so this is roughly 20 years prior to that. So I feel like Joey Zaza he might be in the mob, but not. I don't feel like he would be. I feel like he'd still be too young to be he'd be like Paul. He'd be like Paulie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Speaking of GF3, someone left a comment on one of our YouTube minutes and said they really enjoyed listening to the Godfather 3 commentary that we did.
Oh, yeah?
And they said it's just as enjoyable not even watching the movie, just listening to the track. Just kind of funny.
We did a good job. That's nice. It's nice to hear.
But back to the minute, I do like the idea of Cheech and Michael's bodyguard trading stories outside in the snow and everything that anytime Cheech is talking to someone. Yeah. So be Michael's bodyguard and just bring up a topic. Okay. You're new to the country. Okay. Go ahead.
What are some good restaurants in the city?
Oh, no. Those aren't good restaurants. That was no good restaurant.
He just automatically contradicts whatever the other person says.
Oh, no. That was not the best meal in the city.
I'm really hungry, though. I really want to go someplace.
No. You're not hungry.
You think you're hungry?
That's
you're
not hungry.
and then
that was so annoying.
And then whatever he says, then Frankie goes like,
"Yeah, we were all broken up about the lack of restaurants, Frankie." Oh, if I'd known you were not going to listen to the whole minute, I would have prepared something, Alex.
Well, if people want to hear the rest of the minute, they can just go to godfatherminute.com/support, become a Patreon supporter. It's just like $1 a week.
Okay, sounds good.